My granddad was the policeman of this town back from the 1950s to the 1970s, a small town near Sydney, one of the town's only policemen. Of course, being the policeman of a small town had its perks. There were no murders in his time and no real drama. He always used to tell us the same stories of any semi-interesting things in his 25 years of service, but unfortunately, he passed away early last year from health complications. Some of his old declassified police documents were still in our attic, and I looked at them sometimes when I couldn't sleep. Mostly small things such as domestic disturbances, drunk driving, but sometimes after a bit of sifting through the boring stuff, I'd find something interesting. That was until I found this. I never searched through them again after I found this, but I thought you guys would be interested in it. Police document. Name, Clarice Merriweather. Date of birth, 19th of August, 1950. Date of death, 8th of February, 1971. Articles found at the scene. 9 minutes of video footage. Journal entries by Clarice. 1st of January, 1971. Everyone else is out partying, friends, fun, New Year's, but not me. I never get invited. I'm always left alone. Some people say I'm weird, strange. I just ignore them. They'll never know my love. Who needs human, emotional, betraying friends? I have everything and everyone I love right here. 2nd of January, 1971. I can't believe it. I've waited years for this moment. I went over to Bubs' cage, and there it was, an amazingly constructed beauty of nature, an egg sac. I saw Bubs sitting next to a freshly laid egg sac. She had eaten her mate like spiders do. I loved Bubs. I loved her so much. But she couldn't get in the way of my dreams. I needed my babies. My babies. I gingerly picked her up as I had hundreds of times before. A very large spider she was. Beautiful. In a state of sadness, I shoved Bubs into my mouth, felt as she squirmed around my gums and tickled the roof of my mouth for a few minutes. There was maybe 5 minutes of crunching, and then it was all over. 5th of January, 1971. Days of sadness went by for my lost best friend, but I had to put that behind me, focus on my real goal. I stared down at the egg sac for days on end, a spherical construct with about an inch of diameter. It hadn't begun squirming yet, like I've read in the books. I sat next to it all day, petting the egg sac, imagining the voices of thousands of tiny little spider children, all inside of me. 11th of January, 1971. Bub's egg sac is moving. 14th of January, 1971. By now, the egg sac is squirming as if the spiders' hearts are beating in unison. I knew it was time, that this was when I had to do it. I cut the egg sac in half, unfortunately killing some of my beautiful babies, but it was all for a good cause. The next part was so empowering, so amazing to finally achieve after years of waiting. I put half of the egg sac in my mouth and swallowed. I could feel babies squirming around in my mouth, but I washed them down with water. The other half I put in wherever I could on my body. I fitted them in my ears, my nostrils, the tear ducts of my eyes, inside me, everywhere. Now, all I have to do is wait. 16th of January, 1971. I can't feel anything. I fear my babies might be dead. 19th of January, 1971. I can feel them, moving slowly but surely, a slight itching feeling that cannot be scratched in my insides. It was amazing knowing that I was now a brood mother. 22nd of January, 1971. I can feel them even more. They're scuttling slightly more apparent day by day. If all is deadly silent, I swear I can even hear their angelic voices calling to me. Their brood mother. 27th of January, 1971. My babies are getting stronger. I can feel it. In my veins that carry my blood, under my very skin. But feeling them is nothing. Whenever I look at my skin, I see my babies thriving. I can see their legs and bodies moving underneath my skin. I've begun to feel them in my skull and in my eyes and ears. I won't do anything to stop them. I have to be the best mom they could ever want. 29th of January, 1971. The pressure I feel under my skin is immeasurable. I feel sharp pains all over my body. The tickling, scuttling feeling I felt earlier has turned to scratches and sharp pinpricks of their teeth. My babies are teething. But no, that wasn't even the best part. Nowhere near. When I looked in the mirror, I saw something utterly breathtaking. When I focused on my eyes, I could see them. I could see my little babies looking through my pupil, me staring at them staring back at me. They were beautiful. 1st of February, 1971. I have begun to eat less and less. The pain has turned into convulsions in my body. I can feel my babies eating away my muscles and scraping away at my bones. Pain pulsating through my head and spinal column. I'm going to be a great mom. I know it. 2nd of February, 1971. My babies have found their way to my eardrums and have burst one of them. I'm crying. Not from pain, but from sadness. I can no longer hear my little babies as well as I need to. No longer tend to their little shrieks of pain and excitement as they move freely throughout my body. 3rd of February, 1971. My other eardrum couldn't stand the pressure of parenthood. It collapsed while I was sleeping. 4th of February, 1971. Convulsions turned to seizures as my babies became strong enough to take control of my body. Whenever I ate anything, I instantly threw it back up. I understand. My babies are too big and strong for my food now. They have to start to eat me. It's for the best. For them. 5th of February, 1971. Along with the scratching and pounding all over my body, in my head, it has also spread to my eyes. The placid spiders that I saw last time I looked in the mirror are gone, replaced by raving adolescent spiders, frantically scratching with their legs against the workings of my inner eye. Today, I also made sure to secure my house. I had to make sure my babies wouldn't leave me after I'm gone. 6th of February, 1971. My vision started faltering this morning. I saw dark splotches in my normally perfect vision. I knew what my babies were doing, destroying my eyes. I cried all day again as I realized what this meant, that I wouldn't be able to see my babies anymore. I could only feel them no longer as a part of me, but as their own living entities. 7th of February, 1971. Soon. 9 minutes of 8mm film were found at the scene where Miss Merriweather filmed her last moments. 8th of February 1971. Face up to the camera, Miss Merriweather's face is an extremely pale shade of white, and her eyes are indistinguishable black and red holes with dozens of spiders steadily flowing in and out. She then sits on a chair in front of the camera. "It's happening. I can feel it. They're finally ready to burst." The film continues to show the rapid convulsions of her skin as spiders move up and down her limbs and all around inside her body. Slowly, chunks are eaten out of her flesh, and hundreds of spiders flow out of her torso. Miss Merriweather is seen laughing maniacally while blood and spiders are spewing out of her torso, until her final abrupt moments where she seems to switch off instantaneously. In a final exhalation of air and bile, spiders are vomited from her mouth into the room. The rest of the film shows a lifeless Miss Merriweather with spiders starting to eat her flesh. Concern was expressed about Miss Merriweather's home on the 22nd of February. Neighbors reported that there was a terrible smell coming from her house. Police investigators broke down her door after there was no answer. Hundreds of fully grown spider carcasses completely engulfed Miss Merriweather's skeleton up to her skull. The spiders had presumably starved to death after completely consuming Miss Merriweather. Suicide. No charges pressed.